Welcome to this episode of Sridhar on Selling. As a manager, when you grow from selling to strategic selling. What is strategic selling? When you are selling to only one person, or you are trying to close every single deal. When you get into strategic selling, you plan. Is this customer good for my business? How do I benefit from this particular customer or this group of customers? Is he profitable? Will this be a long-term customer? Will she add value to my bottom line and top line? When you're just out selling, you want to close every single deal regardless of the bottom line. You beg your managers to okay a deal even when you're making a loss. Sometimes the manager says yes, sometimes he says no. Why? He understands the implication of that deal on the organization. So when you get into strategic selling, it's not just customer. It's your entire business and the value that particular deal or customer would add to your business. Every strategic seller solves a problem of the customer. These problems, he may not even be aware of the problem. Was the world uncomfortable without automatic gear cars? No. People are quite happy with manual shift. Somebody strategically thought this would open up a new market for me. And there you are. As famously Henry Ford said, if I'd asked customers what they want, they would have wanted faster, better horses. They could not imagine the car. It was Henry Ford who gave the world a better option. And then people have been improving on it. A strategic seller understands the problem, both stated and latent of the customer. Customers very often want to discuss their problems. Customers frequently also avoid discussing their problems. It's for you to ferret out the real issue. Toyota has a way they say, ask 5 whys to get to the bottom of the problem. Because at the surface level, everybody is looking at it. Your competition also looking at it. So strategically, what do? You get to the bottom of the problem. You have got a solution for a problem of which even the customer was not aware. When you talk about your solution, the customer feels he's going to benefit. He's going to gain massively. There is going to be efficiency in the customer's place. That's how a strategic seller moves. If you go to Chennai, you will find a lot of Korean restaurants there. 30 years back, it was difficult to get decent chapati or roti in Chennai. Today, you have Korean restaurants. What are they doing there? It's because of the automobile industry and Koreans are there. So somebody strategically thought that the sambar idli market has been beaten to death and beyond, and here is a new venture for me. Here is a new avenue for me. The Koreans would do anything to get Korean food, and I can skim the market. And as usual, there's competition. So somebody somewhere 24/7, 365 days a year is thinking of making a difference, thinking strategically. And that should be you and not somebody else. As a strategic thinker, you will have to look at all aspects of business. Now, there is a bakery in Calcutta where the prices drop in the evening because shelf life of the product is getting reduced. So instead of holding on to these stocks, why should I not sell it at a slightly lower margin? This has been practiced by vegetable vendors for a long time. They may not be able to define the strategy, but they understand their business. I have always had huge respect for these small traders. They may not speak English, they may not have been near a school, but they understand the essence of business. Maybe I shall do an episode on that sometime later. What differentiates a strategic seller from an ordinary seller? An ordinary seller is always out to close a deal and close it at the earliest. A strategic seller is looking at alignment, long-term alignment with the customer, alignment with his business, understanding the customer's problem, aligning himself to find a solution to the customer's problem. So it's a long-term perspective. You are not looking at today, tomorrow. You are looking at the future. Growth will come only from staying relevant, staying visible, and staying valuable. All three are important. When you get into strategic selling, there are no shortcuts. There are no immediate closure. A key difference between product selling and strategic selling is in product selling, very often you do firefighting. Your forecasts are very often guesswork. You are in a hurry to close. You take some shortcuts. In strategic selling, these do not work. Your figures have to be perfect. They must be justified. There can be no guesswork. Your activity and action must be predictable. Your alignment must be permanent. This calls for a huge change in the mindset. And that's where your personal growth comes from. Needless to say, a strategic seller is looking at upselling, cross selling, and all those. How does the customer look at a strategic seller? He looks at him as an advisor. He looks at him as a person who's an expert in the field. He looks at his insight. He looks at his ability to see the future. So, friends, evolve yourself into a strategic thinker and seller. Both your customers and your organization would love you. And don't you all want to be loved? Take care. See you next week. Happy selling, happy strategic thinking.